Really grew out of a desire to approach the market differently. So we want to transform our clients so they can transform the world. Every good journey starts off with understanding where your destination is.
Great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
No, you're very, very welcome indeed. Well, let's start from the beginning, just so everyone knows who is who. Give me a little background, a little elevator intro to Groves Company and your partnership with Jagger.
Sure, absolutely. Groves Company is relatively new on the scene. We've been around just shy of 5 years, and we really grew out of a desire to approach the market differently, challenge the status quo when it comes to consulting. So rather than be transactional, we decided to be really intentional in establishing long-term relationships and adding value first wherever we can. So that's really where Groves grew out of. And then we have an overarching motto that we want to transform our clients so they can transform the world, because we work with some amazing clients that do amazing things. And when we free up their time to focus on their core business, they can produce more or add more value in their particular industry.
So how does the relationship work between you and Jagger? Talk me through that partnership and what makes it a success in your eyes.
Absolutely. It's a very collaborative partnership, which has been phenomenal. We do a lot of co-selling. We do a lot of events together. But I think some of the stuff that really works well is that Jagger has a really good program for their partners where they take us through and we get certified and we go through trainings. And so not only do we have the inside knowledge and that training gets updated, but then also when we go out to a client, and it's a new client that maybe we don't have a previous relationship with, they understand that we come in loaded with the right level of information, right? That we can really come in and add value, that we're certified. And so there's a really good first step in the partnership by making sure that the partners are in the right shape and have the right information. And then above and beyond that, we work really closely together when we get engaged with a client. So we're always kind of two men in a box, in the sense that when we go work with a client, we're always talking to Jagger. We're helping facilitate things for Jagger, for the client. We're making sure that we're all one happy team. So that's just a really good spirit of collaboration, and Jagger has really executed well against that.
Let's talk about transformation when you're working with a client, and how do you go from that initial stage where you're getting the information on board, getting a really clear, transparent view of the problems, the challenges, and the areas that are working well, for example, and taking them through that journey to where they want to go to make them set up for the future. Talk me through that process.
Sure, absolutely. So every good journey starts off with understanding where your destination is. So we definitely start off with a question around, if you're 3 years down the road and you're looking back to today, what has to happen to make you think that was a successful journey, that where you went, you made the progress you wanted to make? So we take a very similar approach where we want to focus on that waypoint, get that objective, make sure we're targeting that. And there's sometimes competing objectives. So it's really important to make sure that you call out, based on the different groups you're engaging across an organization, what are the different objectives? Because they may be competing, but they also may be in different parts and points. We may be able to achieve that objective for that group. So we are very, very collaborative again with our clients, right? We really want to partner with them. So we do a lot of pre-planning. We have a lot of upfront work that we get our clients to do to make sure that they're equipped. They know what they're biting off, right? They know how many resources they need, what's that resource allocation, and who's going to be doing what. So we try and take out the mystery.
Let's focus on the implementation, because that's something I always find fascinating, because anyone can have the shiniest new tool with incredible functionality, right, but if people don't know how to use it and get the best from it, for them, that is so crucial. Is there a secret to getting the implementation right?
There's kind of the well-known stuff out there is stakeholder engagement is super important, right? But that's not a secret sauce necessarily. I think when it comes to a secret of making sure that you do really well, you execute really well in that implementation phase, is that you need to speed up the client's knowledge uptake. So if you take the system and you put that system in front of them and say, how do you want it to work? They're going to recreate the exact same thing they just got done moving away from. And there's reasons they moved away from it. So you really have to take that knowledge that they've got today and try and help them get past that and really start thinking through, okay, well, what are best practices? Best practice should be kind of a living thing where it adjusts, and you adjust it for each client so that that best practice is their best practice. And so as you go along and you build that in on the implementation cycle, right, you're helping them get into the system faster so they come up to speed on how the system works. You're talking through best practices. You're challenging, again, that status quo. then they start really getting it. You start getting better throughput. You avoid the rework and all the change orders that come along with that. And so that's really kind of, I think, the secret sauce is making sure that you push people to avoid the preconceived notions that they have about things, how things should work, and really think through, do we really need that? What's critical? And then take out everything that's not critical, and then build on the nice to haves after that.
I love that perspective. Where I want to go next is the pace of change, because the pace of change within technology, even just this event, you're hearing about all of the new releases, changes, advancements. As someone working in the more consultancy space, how do you help your clients and partners keep up with that pace of change? How do you translate it? How do you cut through the hype to reach the business value?
Right. And yeah, you're definitely speaking near and dear to my heart, because the pace of change is accelerating in our world today. Some of the key points that we're talking to clients now about is a lot of people think, okay, well, here's the shiny new thing, right? And AI's out. No, we got this AI application. It's AI native and all this kind of stuff. Well, is that really the best investment? Because you've got a technology solution that probably has everything you need, and you might not be using it correctly. Right? So a lot of times when people switch their technology solutions from one to another, it's because they've gotten frustrated with something, or maybe the relationship is soured, and they haven't really gone back and they haven't refreshed how they're operating in that and taken another look at, what am I doing? Am I doing this correctly? Am I doing the right thing for my organization? Because if you can optimize, your ROI on an optimization is going to be far greater than going and putting in a new tool and then trying to upskill your workforce again for that new tool.
So let's see how it works in practice. I'd love an example of a journey you've been on with Jagger and a client, how you've taken them from a starting point to a much better place. Give me an insight on how that works.
Sure. Baylor College of Medicine was a great success story. So they implemented full suite. They did it at the same time they were doing an SAP upgrade. So they moved from SAP ECC. So we implemented their integrated. They moved to S/4HANA. Then we tweaked the integration a little bit and made sure that everything worked for S/4HANA. And they were able to move, so their shared services group that runs procurement and all of that, they were in the top 5 or bottom 5 in the organization repeatedly on customer success scores. And they moved into the top 3 shortly after, 6 months after their implementation. So that was a big one. They were able to reduce their contract cycle times a lot. They had a lot more visibility into their spend. So all in all, that was a very, very successful program for them.